How are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean...
But there's no turning back, you're saying?
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud.
All right, there you have it. A tough moment in the interview, but again, he was very honest about the story. Joining us now to talk about that and some other things, Miranda Devine, ace New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor, Liz Peek, syndicated columnist, also Fox News contributor. Ladies, thank you very much. My point here was, A, to find out, because, you know, Tesla's got its bumps in the road this year. But here's the thing. They had thrown the book at him. They have threatened his life on the internet. They have firebombed his charging stations. They have shot holes through one of his dealerships, I think, in Oregon. They are picketing and demonstrating here in New York City, the Tesla dealership, okay? Trump has been steadfast in backing him up, but Elon's had a rough go of it. This is not a simple, easy thing. The Democrats are piling on left and right because their cherished entitlement pigs at the trough are going to be taken away under Elon Musk. And he won't relent, Miranda, which I think he doesn't have to do this, Lord knows. He told me he's going to do it at least for another year. He's going to double his team from 100 to 200 people to keep on doing it. If that doesn't show character, I don't know what does.
It does, and he is, as Donald Trump said, a true patriot. I mean, he's the richest man in the world. He doesn't need this money, unlike what Elizabeth Warren and the rest of the Democrats pretend that he's out to make a buck for himself. He doesn't need the headaches, and as he told you, his other businesses are actually suffering. This has focused the ire of the left on him. His life, I think, really is in danger. You know, I saw one of the activists talking about Mangione, the CEO killer, and likening that to the mood, the vibe against Tesla and against Elon Musk. They despise him, and the Democrats have activated all their street fighters because he is actually, as you just said, he is targeting their money, their dirty money that has gone to pay for their street warriors, for their protests, for their left-wing activism. It's the primal scream of an animal that's been cornered. And it's really a life or death struggle between them and Elon.
Yeah, and I think they see that. And you know, Liz, what else is so interesting? He's completely transparent. I mean, just that clip. Yeah. He could have made up some rigmarole, and he didn't. Yeah. He just has been difficult, okay?
I thought it was a very human moment, actually. And I had tremendous compassion for this guy. You're totally right. They are just on him. They are celebrating the fact that I think Bloomberg today talked about he'd lost over $135 billion since the beginning of the year. They love that. Remember, this is the guy that put EVs on the map. He was a hero to the left because he made electric vehicles actually a reality. He provided Starlink at his own cost to Ukraine to keep them in the war. This is a good guy. And what is he trying to do? He's trying to get rid of, what, $500 billion, up to $500 billion of waste and fraud in the federal government because it is going to put our country into bankruptcy. I mean, how can anybody object to that, Larry, except for what you're saying? All the dirty money is being revealed. It's not only just being revealed in sort of subtle voices in Washington, it's on the internet every day. Here it is, folks. Here's what we found. You're not going to believe it.
I mean, the Democrats are completely panicked over this, that somebody's figured out their game. In fact, let's roll this tape one more time on entitlements and Democrats and illegals and even illegals voting. One more time. Let's roll some tape.
I mean, the waste and fraud in entitlement spending, you know, which is most of the federal spending is entitlements. So that's like the big one to eliminate, because that's the sort of $500 billion, maybe $700 billion a year. That is also a mechanism by which the Democrats attract and retain illegal immigrants by essentially paying them to come here and then turning them into voters.
Now, that's really something. He's not really a political guy, but I think he's nailed it. Now, he's referring to waste, fraud, and abuse in the entitlements. And again, what the GAO says, he's not referring to the benefit levels of the policy program. But he's telling the truth. This has been a Democratic game for a long time. And then, of course, if you get them in here, get the illegals in here, they'd love to give them driver's licenses and let them vote. I mean, we came very close in New York, right, to illegals voting. Yep. Very close.
Well, I mean, what he's saying there is the biggest scandal of the very scandalous Biden administration to allow in 8 to 10 to 12 million illegal migrants. No one rational could understand why they would do that, because it was such a burden on the country. And you know, when anyone said, oh, it's because they want voters, you'd be shouted down and told that was a conspiracy theory. But Elon nailed it. He's the smartest guy in the room, and he's figured it out. It's pretty obvious what they were up to.
So, Liz, one other point I want to make. This is the budget side of this. So we've had these studies before, most recently the GAO study. And Elon and I talked about this briefly, but Russell Vought, the OMB director, was very clear about this in yesterday's show. They're going to take Elon's savings and tie it up into a package of rescissions to rescind the authorizations and not spend the money. Now, this only requires simple majority vote in the House and the Senate. So it's like reconciliation, only 51 votes in the Senate, for example. But they aim to do that quickly. They may do it for FY25, and they may come back and do more in FY26. This is a key point. In other words, this is not an academic exercise. Yeah. This thing's not going to gather dust on the shelf. They are operating this thing to reduce the budget, to bend the budget baseline down and stop. In effect, it's like taking away the check. That's all, ripping up the check.
Totally, and it has to happen. Larry, in the first 5 months of the year, we have a $1.1 trillion deficit, up $390 billion from the year before. So all this chatter under Joe Biden's administration about how we're bringing down the deficits, we're trimming the budget, it is not true. It's getting worse every single day. The only thing I'd like is a Doge dividend. I know you're not in favor of that.
No,
I think sending out a check for $2,500 or $5,000 before the midterms and the Republicans leave the House.
I want a Doge dividend. I want a Doge dividend.
I do too.
Where do I apply, Miranda? I wanted. By the way, Doge dividends poll very well. McLaughlin polled on Doge dividends.
How could it not?
Free money.
You know what? It makes it tangible. It's like this isn't just big budget talk. This is here. You get some taxpayer money back, and it only goes to taxpayers.
Liz, I've never met a tax cut I didn't like.
Yeah, exactly.
Of any kind of
no
any
one
sort,
has.
Anytime, anyway. Miranda, Devine, Liz Peek, thanks to both of you.